The sun blazed over Gravestone Gulch, a forgotten town on the edge of nowhere. The dusty main street shimmered like a mirage, with heat rising from its cracked earth. Shops stood half abandoned, their paint peeled by wind and time. Only the saloon and the sheriff's office showed signs of life, and even then, just barely. Riding into town, his black hat pulled low and his eyes sharp beneath it, came Cade Mercer, a former outlaw turned bounty hunter. He was a kind of man legend whispered about, cold eyes, a scar along his jaw, and a quick draw that had ended more than one man's evil deeds. He didn't come for glory. He came for peace, or the chance of it. He was tracking someone. But what he found wasn't what he expected. Inside the collapsed ruins of the old rail depot outside town, Cade discovered a woman crouched behind crates, a rusted pistol shaking in her pale hands. Her clothes were torn, and a bruise darkened a cheek. Her breathing was fast, terrified. Please don't shoot," she stammered as Cade stepped forward, hands raised. "If you let me live, I'll bear you children strong and marry you." Cade froze, his heart lurching strangely. He said carefully, "I ain't here to hurt you. Put the gun down." She blinked at him, disbelief storming through her expression. She was beautiful despite the dirt and blood, long dark hair matted with sweat, fire burning behind exhausted eyes. But it was a desperation in her voice that dug into Cade's soul. Not the offer. Lord knew he'd heard crazier things, but the sheer hopelessness behind it. "My name's Cade Mercer," he said, stepping closer. "You don't have to promise me nothing. Just tell me who did this to you." The woman lowered the pistol, shoulders trembling. "Name's Josie Calder," she whispered. "My husband tried to kill me." Chapter 2, Josie's Truth. Back in Cade's rented room above the saloon, Josie told her story as she cleaned her wounds. She'd married Harlen Calder, a rancher known for his cruelty, believing him to be her salvation after her father died in a mine collapse. But Harlen treated her more like livestock than wife, controlling her every move, locking her in the barn for disobedience, and worse. 2 weeks ago, she caught him selling stolen army rifles to outlaws. When she threatened to go to the marshal, he tried to silence her with fists and fire. She barely escaped the blaze he set to their ranch house. "I've been running ever since," she said. "Harlen's out there, and he won't stop till I'm dead. If you hand me in, he'll find me. If you leave me, he'll kill me." Cade looked at her. "No fear, just pain." "I ain't gonna leave you, Josie," he said. "And I sure as hell ain't handing you in." She blinked, stunned. "Why?" "Because I've seen the eyes of a woman ready to die," he said, voice low. "And yours ain't done fighting yet." Chapter 3, Trouble Rides In. By morning, word had spread that Cade was back in Gravestone, and trouble rode fast on its heels. 3 riders with Calder Ranch branding iron symbols on their saddles came storming into town. Josie saw them from a window and went cold. That's his brother, Wade. His worse than Harlen. Cade loaded his revolver. They didn't come for a fight, yet. Wade swaggered into the saloon and sneered. "We heard Josie ran off with some bounty-hunting coward. Town says he's shacked up with her like some dime novel hero." Cade didn't flinch. "You got 10 seconds to leave town, Wade. Then I stopped talking, Dot. You think she's worth dying for, Mercer." Wade laughed. "She's broken. Harlen wants her back, 'cause she talks too much. Ain't no man wants her for any other reason." The bar went still. Cade stood. "Get out." Wade's hand hovered near his holster, but Cade's draw was faster. A bullet slammed into the floorboard beside Wade's boot. Close enough to burn. Wade spat. "This ain't over." They rode out. Cade knew what that meant. Harlen was coming. Chapter 4, Fortify and Burn. That night, Cade helped Josie patch up the old sheriff's office, turning it into a fortress. The current sheriff was long gone, ran off when outlaws moved in a year prior. Cade set traps and placed rifles in second-floor windows. Josie watched him work, hands still shaking from the morning encounter. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "Because I used to be like them," Cade said. "Once upon a time, I ran with a gang. I know what they'll do to you, and I know redemption don't come easy. But protecting you might be a step toward mine." Tears welled in her eyes. "You're not the man the posters once painted you to be." Cade gave a small, broken smile. "No, but I'm trying to be something better." That night, as the wind howled across the empty street and firelight danced on the walls, Josie sat beside Cade. Neither spoke much, but something settled between them, soft, uncertain, real. Chapter 5. The Siege. At dawn, they came, Harlen, Calder, and 10 riders, armed and brutal. They didn't ride into town quietly. They wanted fear, thunder, smoke. But Cade and Josie were ready. The first rifle shot dropped one of the riders before he cleared his saddle. The battle lasted nearly an hour, bullets thudding into wooden walls, shouts echoing across the dusty street. Josie reloaded while Cade fired, then switched places, working like a team born of necessity and trust. At one point, Josie took a grazing bullet to the arm and still kept going. "You all right?" Cade asked, panting. "I've been through worse," she growled. By midday, the ground was soaked in blood, and only 2 men remained, Harlen and Cade. They faced each other in the open street, the way men in the West always had. Harlen was big, mean, and grinning. "You think she wants you." Harlen snarled. "She's my wife." "No," Joseph said, stepping from behind Cade. "I was your prisoner. I'm his now, because I choose him." Cade raised his gun, but not fast enough. Harlen fired. Cade staggered, wounded in the side. Joseph screamed. Then, with the scream still in the air, Joseph picked up Cade's fallen rifle and fired. Harlen dropped like a stone. The silence that followed felt like thunder. Chapter 6. Ashes and Vows. Days passed. Josie nursed Cade back to health in the safety of the saloon's rooms. The town, grateful for the fall of the Calder gang, began to breathe again. People swept their porches. Children played outside. Even the old preacher started ringing his bell again. Cade healed slowly. Josie never left his side. "You said something back at the depot," he murmured one evening, "about bearing strong children. Was that just fear talking?" She smiled. "Maybe at first. But now, I'd marry you without a gun to my head." Cade took her hand, scarred and callous like his. "Then let's not waste time." The preacher wed them under the same willow tree where Josie once watched sunsets alone, thinking she'd die in darkness. Now, she stood with Cade, her partner, a protector, her redemption. They didn't have much. Just a repaired ranch house, some chickens, a pair of Mustangs, and love hardened like steel in the fire hardship. But that was enough. Epilogue. Strong children and quiet roads. Years later, townsfolk would tell the tale of how Cade Mercer saved Gravestone and won the heart of a woman everyone thought broken. Children ran across fields he once rode through alone. Joseph taught them to be kind but never weak. Cade taught them to shoot straight and speak truth. And under the willow tree, where they were wed, Cade carved their names. She asked for mercy. He gave her love.